Hey everybody, popping in live, more personal development. How are y'all liking this? I'm still getting some really cool messages since I started this. We'll wait for some people to pop on. It's still coffee time at my house. I hope you're having an awesome Sunday. It is sunny here finally, sunny and blue sky. That was a welcome sight. Alright, so this series that we've been doing is about connecting with people. The book is a John C. Maxwell about everybody communicates but few people connect, because you have to take your communication to a different level in order to connect with people. So we've covered a lot. If you've missed, obviously we're on day 9. I said that in the title, but because coincidentally I started this book at the same time this month started. So I'm 9 chapters in. I was only going to read a few pages a day, but the content is so well written and so put together, like to read chapters at a time made more sense. So we're on chapter 9. It is day 9. If you've missed some of this, if you watch this and you enjoy it, go back and check out the beginning of the series. It's really good. Again, if you haven't followed along yet, it's a way for me to emphasize and share how important personal development is to me. I teach my entire team and those around me that personal development is so huge in your business, in your life, in your relationships with people. Fill in the blank. Personal development is huge. But I found myself saying that a lot. And maybe, when I started getting messages and feedback that I love personal development, but I don't know how to apply it, I just thought maybe I needed to be more raw in my personal development time and to come to you and share this time with you. It allows me not only to learn what I needed to learn, so it allows me to learn, it allows me to take notes and really think about it, and then I get to pop on here live and I just kind of rawly share with you, even as I read back through my notes. I do glance at my notes sometimes, but go back through my notes and be able to even share those thoughts with you, like initially, and I just really hope that it helps you as well. It's good for me, so but I hope that it helps you as well, and I hope it helps you understand how important personal development is in whatever aspect of life. If you have to talk to people, whether that's your kids or your spouse or your staff or your team or your customers or your colleagues or your friends, I don't care who it is. If you are communicating with people, this is important. And I know a lot of what I've covered is in the context of having a group or an audience, but all of it applies. So just reach out if you have any questions and how, like, if something I even said, affected you or made you stop and think and you're like, I don't know how to apply that, but that was really revolutionary to me. Reach out, ask questions. It's cool. Like, let's all learn together. That's why I want to do this. So, this section today was about inspiring people. So it's not just to hear words that are being said to you, but are you inspiring other people? And that comes across in many different ways depending on where you're at. But here were some numbers that were really important to me. And I want you to think about, whether you're an employee, you have a job, whether you're an artist, maybe you're a musician, whether you're a leader, whether you're a team member, whether you have a business. I just want you to think about it in terms of performance, whatever performance means to you, okay? And apply it to whatever aspect of life. This could be, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. That's okay too. So here we go. There can be, on average, they say, a 40% difference in performance based on whether you're motivated or unmotivated. So if you're just going through the motions, you're probably performing 40% less than what you could. Whereas if you could understand and feel motivated and feel appreciated, you're going to do 40% better. Could you imagine what 40% better would be? Like, what would that mean for your home life? What would that mean for what you did for your kids? What would that mean you did for your spouse? What would that mean you did in your job? If you're a business owner or you're a leader, what if that, your productivity and your income and your team, what if that went up 40%? Like, that is huge. 40% is huge, y'all. So you need to be inspired. You need to find somebody that inspires you. You need to find something that inspires you. You know, what is it that makes you get up and go? And you know, sometimes inspiration comes from within. Like, you just have to have your own goals and aspirations, and you're just going to do what you need to do. But I want you to think about that 40%. Like, are you losing 40%, or could you be 40% better? Like, that was just like, oh, wow. I mean, if my business increased, if the businesses in our house increased by 40%, that would be crazy, amazing, cool, y'all. So just think about that. So motivated versus unmotivated can mean a 40% difference. So you definitely want to find that. I mean, if your relationships with people could be 40% better, if you could be, it's just amazing. I just really like that. And then from a business perspective, or even if you're running a team, if you're in network marketing and you have a team and you have people on your team, people that are motivated are 87% more likely to stay. 87%. So they're going to perform 40% better and 87% more likely to stay. Those are huge numbers. So make sure you're connecting with people. Make sure you're reaching them. Make sure they're motivated and inspired, because those are big numbers, y'all. I want you to take, you know, think about your, again, so it just makes me think about, because again, this book is about leadership, and that's why I read it, was from a leadership perspective. There are many, many leaders around me at all times, and I want you to think about that. Like, your best month ever, what would 40% better, 40% more people, 40% more income, 40%, if everybody on your team did 40% better, I mean, that's pretty stinking cool, right? So inspiration is just an equation. Let's break it down. What they know, what they see, what they feel. So you have to be able to reach them on all levels. You know, make sure they have the knowledge, make sure they can see their vision, and then they need to feel that you believe in them, that they can do it, whatever that is. Again, that can be an employee, that can be a team member, wherever you need to plug in that equation, it just works. So you want to make sure you're focusing on other people. Try to understand them. What are they thinking? What are they saying? What are they feeling? Because that is how you're going to be able to understand and reach them better. And again, this applies at individual levels, it applies at group levels, it applies at audience levels. Fill in the blank. It can apply all of those aspects. So this quote, and this is so true in my life. So again, how? And you're going to focus on them. What does that mean? Yeah, 40% is great, right, Marcus? I mean, you have a business. Like, if you had 40% more production, more income, I mean, that's crazy. That is just really awesome. So a quote by Maya Angelou. I had actually never heard this one, and I like quotes. So this was a big one to me. The most called upon prerequisite of a friend is an accessible ear. So I want you to think about, you know, if you need to talk to somebody, you know who you're going to call, right? And why is that? You're not going to call the person that's going to say, I told you so. You're not going to call the person that's like, whatever, I don't care. You're not going to call the person that's not going to listen to you. You're going to call the person that is going to listen. Unbiasedly, just listen. That's a good friend, right? You have to be that good friend for people too, and that is connection in itself. Yeah, quality work. Yes, absolutely. So if you had workers who worked for you that were inspired, that were motivated, and they produced 40% more, like, even from a I own this business perspective, that's going to be great. It's going to be great for quality. It's going to be great for cost effectiveness, because I mean, if you can have people that are putting out 40% more, you probably can get rid of the people who aren't performing or aren't motivated, right? Like, just huge. It's just really, I don't know, that 40% really hit me hard, y'all. And you know, yesterday we joked about the statistics were huge, and here I am, you know, I come to you today and I'm like, this statistic is crazy, y'all, and it really hit home. So you want to make sure people know you have a high expectation of them. That can be, you know, it comes across so many different ways, because you believe in them, because you can see potential in them. You know, there are so many people that I've had an opportunity to work with in whatever aspect, and I read people. I usually can see something in them. You know, we all have something different we bring to the table. We all have some different quality that makes us good at whatever we do, what we choose to do. But sometimes people don't see that in themselves. And you just, when you point it out, when you share it, when you celebrate it, when you acknowledge it, when you are thankful for it and you show them gratitude, that is huge, and it means a lot to people in their lives. So make sure they know you have that high expectation of them. So this is a big one too, especially for what I do. And then I was trying to apply it even in other places in my life, just to think about, thanks Marcus, just to think about this. So, you know, I lead a team, right? I have a team, and I'm not their manager. I'm not their boss. We are all individual business owners, right? So a lot of times that's the perspective I take on when I hear things. So this is a Steve Jobs quote. Management is about persuading people to do things they don't want to do, while leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could do. Okay, so that can be applied to the real world too, right? I have a full-time job as well, and I don't even think about, I mean, this was huge to me, because I don't even think about my boss or my management as management or a boss, and this is exactly what happens. I have so much respect for them, and look to them as leaders. So even though they technically are a manager, they are good leaders, okay? So that's what a good leader does, and it's amazing, the team that I work on. You know, somebody needs help and everybody's there to help. As soon as there's an extra task, like you have to go above and beyond and we need to get something done, there is no doubt that everybody's not going to jump in to try to assist, because it is such good leadership and leading by example and understanding. To me, it was always important to me, even when I was young, like, how do you have these bosses, you know, and they were bosses then. It was truly a management situation I was in before, that don't know how to do your job. Like, how do you, I always thought it was, I admired those people more when they knew what everybody was doing. You know, maybe they didn't want to or need to do it on a daily basis, but if you can't sit in my chair and have any clue as to what I do all day long, like that just wasn't a good boss or a manager to me, right? So it was just really powerful to me in the sense of, I do say that a lot. So I'm not your manager, I'm not your boss. And you lead by example, and you try to just give them good knowledge and let them grow personally, because once they grow personally, again, so this is why personal development is so important to me. Once people start growing personally, they find inspiration from within. They find other things that inspire them, and they have that motivation, wherever that needs to come from, to do better. And there's your 40%, right? They just like kick it into gear, like something clicks and they're like, oh yeah, I'm ready now. But again, so believing in somebody, letting them know you have high expectation, that is the bridge to, there are people out there who don't know anything outside of a traditional work environment. They don't know that there are better things out there, but you have to believe in them, and you have to tell them, and you can show them, and you just lead by example. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. The company I'm with, I've been in for almost 3 years. And it literally is just now catching people's attention. And it is because they see the dedication. They see the change in me. They see how important this is. They see that it is my life. Like, it is huge for people. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, I really enjoy positive feedback. People should know. So I used to be really bad. So I'm an introvert. I don't know if we finished that discussion. I'm an introvert. And I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas, and my brain is always working, and I notice a lot, but I tend to not share that. So then I try to make an effort, and it is an effort, y'all. It still is an effort. I see somebody, maybe they look nice, maybe they have a nice shirt on, maybe their smile. I try to tell those people. If I notice something, I want to tell you. So yes, now I can be that weird lady, and I will walk up to you and just be like, your smile is amazing and it's contagious to all these people around you. I am that person that will approach you and tell you. Because people should know when we notice those things about them. And they love it. So, another thing I want you to do, treat people. Alright, so let's say there's a scale, right? Let's not make this trashy, but there's a scale of 1 to 10. I want you to think of everybody as a 10. Everybody has that potential. Maybe it's different than yours, and that's cool, but think of them as a 10. Believe in them as a 10. Show them they can be a 10, and guess what they start doing? They start believing that they're a 10, and they're going to perform at that level, and they're going to do better, and it is amazing to watch that transformation. Everybody wants to be inspired. They just need somebody to believe in them. And are you the person that needs to believe in them for them to do those great things and know that they're a 10? So keep that in mind. Connect with these people and inspire them. A lot of times people are just waiting on the right person to challenge, motivate, and encourage them. And that's huge, y'all. So you have to be genuine, though. You can't just, I'm not going to tell somebody that sucks at giving a speech that they're amazing. They're not going to believe me because they probably know they're not very good at it. So conviction, you have to believe in what you're sharing. They have to be able to trust you with and have credibility. And it has to be reflected in your character. If this is the only time I was inspiring was when I popped on Facebook Live, and here I am on day 9. I've only done it 9 days. And I wasn't like this when you ran into me somewhere, or I wasn't like this when I talked to my team, or I wasn't like this when I talked to my kids or my husband. Then that's my true character. And I always think of character as, what are you like when nobody's looking? And I promise you, I'm 100% true to my character. And that is important because people are watching. People can watch me here, and then they're going to watch me in pictures, and they're going to watch me at events, and they're going to watch me when I go out. I'm not in, for what we do, it's so funny. I'll tell you this story. So what did Dylan and I do all the time? He's a musician, and he works with musicians. So most of the time, our office at nighttime is in a bar. And people are like, dang, y'all go out all the time. So yes, I love that, Marcus. That is a fantastic habit to get into, is just to compliment somebody. It is so important. I love that. I love that. And, I'll be honest with you, maybe, I hope you're still on. It is a fear of mine. People are so caught up in, like, you can't pay somebody a compliment. Like, if you ran into me somewhere and you were like, oh, you look nice. That women are offended by that sometimes now. And that is really disturbing to me, that you can't even take an honest compliment a lot of times. I'm not saying you would walk up and say something vulgar or inappropriate, but if you can't walk up to somebody and tell them that they look beautiful or they look nice, like, that is really sad to me. So I'm glad to hear that people are still doing that. I think people should still do it. There's going to be a one-off somewhere, and they're going to be offended. And to me, that's just so sad. It's just like, that is the epitome of not believing in yourself if you cannot even accept a compliment. So I love that you still do that, Marcus. It is important, and people need to see it, and you can just watch somebody's mood change, and I love that. So anyway, be true to your character. To finish my story, we go to bars all the time. And people have a perception of what that means when you go to a bar all the time. And we have people that want to meet us out, want to go out, and they're like, oh, you don't drink? Very rarely do we drink. We're going out because it's business. I'm not a drinker. Dylan's not a drinker. An occasional drink, maybe one. I mean, it's just not something that we do. It's not the reason we go out. And that shocks a lot of people because they have this, and it's almost like they want to catch us out. Like, we make all these videos, we do this music and mascara stuff, we do all of this stuff together, we're always sharing and trying to inspire other people, share knowledge, that's what we do. And then we'll be out somewhere, and it's almost like people are like, oh, let's go see what they're really like. What you'll find is that we're just there, and we're just watching, and we're observing. We're probably going to be on our phones because we're still working 24/7. Rarely will we ever have a drink. And I mean, I'm not just going to be on Facebook Live making stuff. I might be taking pictures. I might be recording live video. But for the most part, I'm probably sitting off somewhere quiet to myself because that's what I do. So, because I'm being honest with you, like, I will talk to you all day long, but I'm not going to be the one that, like, wants to be the center of attention. It's just not me. And we're there to work. So that's what we do. So again, that just goes back. That just made me think of the story to go along with the character. Who you are when nobody's looking. I mean, I'm the same if you hung out with me at my house and you showed up unannounced, or if you see me out somewhere, with a group of friends, with my husband, in a bar. It doesn't matter. Wherever you see me, with my kids, I mean, I'm the same all the time. And I'm very proud of that, y'all. Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm sorry you had to experience that, Marcus, but it's really a reflection on them more so than it is a reflection on you. So something else that was really big to me. So I talk a lot about vision. Hey, Brandy. We talk a lot about vision and having a vision, and the difference between a vision and why. I've written an article about this on my blog, but just real quick, the difference between a vision and a why. Like, a why is just a statement a lot of times. I mean, some people are good enough to put the emotion that goes with that, but if you say it as a vision instead, so a vision is something that you can see, you can feel, you can smell. If you want this brand new car, how is it going to feel? How is it going to be? What are you going to feel when you drive it? What is it going to smell like? What are people going to think? Is it going to turn heads? Like, it is a true vision and an emotional, put yourself in that position. What does that feel like? That is a true vision, okay? But so this morning, again, during this personal development time, we're talking about feeling and understanding and connecting with people, right? So then I see this quote, and I was just like, wow, that's really powerful. Vision without passion is a picture without possibilities. So, I mean, that's huge. So you can have the most vivid vision, but if you don't have the passion to believe in that and understand that and have goals, that picture is never going to come to life for you. That possibility doesn't exist. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. And I hear lots of whys. Lots of visions get shared with me. Lots of goals. But then they just get lost somewhere. And maybe that's the difference, is the passion that they need to feel for that. Or, or maybe it's not a feeling yet. And it's terrible to say that it takes almost a moment of pain to be propelled to do better. anyway, so that is something, definitely a takeaway for me that I'll have to think more about and see where to expound on that from, because I think that is the part maybe I see in a lot of people, and I'd never seen it put, to put something in one sentence. We're talking about in this series too, keeping it simple, and just to see that one statement, I was like, wow, that's so powerful. And maybe that's the part that's what happens to people. So being able to inspire and motivate and have them create that passion within themselves, maybe that's the difference between them. It's powerful enough for people to finally get a vision, but why don't they continue on to make their vision come true? And maybe this is the missing piece. So again, learning and growing here. And we've probably all heard this saying, like, people might not remember what you say or did, but they always remember how you made them feel. So that's important. And that is like a breakthrough thing for people. And you have to believe in them. Tell them they're a 10. Make them feel like a 10. Tell them what you believe, celebrate their strengths. I think that's huge. So I want you to think, so again, we're talking about character. We're talking about being genuine. We're talking about being trustworthy. I want you to ask yourself 4 questions before you share something with somebody. Do I believe what I say? Has it changed me? Do I believe it will help others? And have I seen it change others? Because that is the bridge, right? You can't just tell somebody something. You have to believe in it, for one. If it touches you personally, emotionally, creates a story from it, that's its own thing. And then have you seen it do the same thing for somebody else? Bring it all back together. They focus more on not having, and Brandy, there's so much truth in that, and it's powerful that you can even acknowledge that. So know that is fantastic that you can even acknowledge that in yourself, because even when we think we're being positive and think we're growing and think we're going towards our goals, there is so many times a mindset there that can take that away from us. And if you're focused on what you want and the fact that you don't have it yet, or you think you should have it, or whatever that is focused more on a negative mindset. But that is huge. If you can acknowledge that and you can recognize that in yourself, Brandy, you are way ahead of the game. So kudos to you for being able to know that and acknowledge it. And that means you can overcome it. I believe in you, Brandy. So understanding things changes minds, right? So we do this personal development and we have these epiphanies and we can apply them to our lives and our mind starts to change. But then what? So action is what changes lives. You can't just understand it. And this is me, y'all. This is me to a T. I told y'all I could be a professional student. I can learn all day long. But then what do I do with it? That's the piece. So it's the action. So the action is required. And making this connection with people and helping them bridge this gap is the bridge between this is how and begin now. That was part 1 of our series for Music and Mascara. We were talking about just do it. You're never going to get where you want to be if you don't ever start. So you have to start. So there's a plug I wasn't expecting to make. If you haven't watched Music and Mascara, that was released Thursday on Just Do It. It was part 1 of a 2-part episode on a series that we're starting about action steps. So strange how all of this pulls itself together, right, y'all? So as you're learning things, as you're listening to things, just to take even your personal development to a deeper level, whether you're in the middle of some personal development, you're reading a book, you're watching some YouTube videos, you're listening to some podcasts, I don't care what you choose to do personal development wise. And again, so I started this saying, maybe you're just using this. Maybe this is where you're like, I don't have time and I don't know what the heck she's talking about when she says personal development. I'm just going to come here and get it. And that's okay. But I want you to think of the word act. Okay? Act as you go through things and learn wherever you're learning from. And as you're going through and taking notes on various points that stick out at you, use that acronym ACT, and I want you to write A, C, or T beside those items that stand out to you, because you're going to do one of three things, okay, for those items. You're going to apply them. That will be your A. You're going to change them, or you're going to teach them. So if it's something you're not doing, you would choose to apply it. If it's something you're like, crap, I'm doing that totally wrong, maybe you need to change it. Or if it's something you're like, no, I got this, then you need to teach it. So ACT, A-C-T, apply, change, teach. That is what I want you to do as you're going through your personal development, because those are actionable items. It creates an actionable item immediately. And before 24 hours pass, do one of those things that you made a note of. Whether it's an A or a C or a T, you know, maybe you're not ready to teach, and that's okay. Is there something you can apply? Is there something you can change? And just do it. Take that action. You know, we talk a lot from a network marketing perspective about like shiny object syndrome, or squirrel, you know, something else caught your attention. And this is all the same thing. Like, people like to feel good. So they go from inspiration to inspiration looking for something that makes them feel good, but they never do anything. They never do anything. You know, you can sit here and get all of this knowledge, but what are you doing to put it in place? So in conclusion for that, let's just think about this. So, you know, we talked about visions, we talked about whys, we talked about goals, and those are big, right? But if you were to look at your life more so as greatness, you know, when you like arrive at greatness, how many people can you make want to be better? So how many people do you make better? How many people can you inspire that want to change their lives and they want to be better? And that is huge. And we can all do some of that. So I don't know how long this was. Sorry, y'all. But that was day 8 of our personal development. I think that went really well. If you're watching this and following along, I hope you can see that some of this stuff just comes as it comes, and I didn't even realize how much it tied into other things that we're doing. And then that speaks volumes to where I'm at in my journey, and what I need to work on and what I need to share with you. So I hope this helped. Comment below if you rewatch this and you take notes. I would love to hear your action items for your ACT, right? So check it out. Let me know. Comment below. Send me a message if you need assistance. And I will talk to y'all later.